excellent.
Have you ever heard the story about the band that demanded a bowl of M&Ms backstage with all of the brown ones removed? People thought it was just another case of celebrity ego, spoiled rock stars being difficult. But what if I told you that tiny strange request was actually one of the smartest quality control moves in history? And more importantly, what if I told you that you need your own version of a Brown M&M test just to make sure that the details in your business, with your team, and in your life aren't slipping through the cracks? Today's episode is about the underestimated power of being detail-oriented. I'm not talking about being obsessive. I'm not talking about being controlling. I'm talking about being precise and how it's the little things that almost always point to the big things. So welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast, the podcast for whatever business is on your mind. Let's get started.
Well, that's excellent.
Well, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Mind Your Business podcast. Hey, as always, if this brings value to your life, will you do me a favor? I want you to like, subscribe, and share this with others. Also, it would be amazing if you would leave a review where you listen, because this helps get the algorithms working so that I can add as much value to as many people as possible. Now, let's go back to the 1980s. We're talking a decade of big hair, big stages, and one of the biggest bands and rock and roll shows of all time. I'm talking about Van Halen. Van Halen was known for one of the most elaborate rock shows of all time. Their setup included these really massive lighting rigs. They had pyrotechnics and technical specs that were known for being really, really complicated and really, really involved. Now, there's a lot that we could talk about when it comes to Van Halen or even rock and roll, but I want to talk more about those brown M&Ms. See, buried deep in the band's contract rider was a clause that said this: there will be no brown M&Ms in the backstage area. If brown M&Ms are found, the promoter will forfeit the entire show at full cost. It sounds petty, right? Again, that rock star ego. But here's what most people missed. That line was intentional. That line was a trap, and it was a smart one. Van Halen lead singer David Lee Roth explained in his autobiography that the M&M clause wasn't about ego at all. It was actually about safety. Here's exactly what he said, the quote that he put from his autobiography. He said this: the contract rider read like a version of the Chinese Yellow Pages because there was so much equipment and so many people to make it function. Just as a little test, in the technical aspect of the rider, it would say Article 148, there will be 15 amperage voltage sockets at 20-foot spaces evenly, that kind of thing. And Article number 126, in the middle of nowhere, there was this: there will be no brown M&Ms in the backstage area, upon pain of forfeiture of the show with full compensation. So when I would walk backstage, if I saw a brown M&M in that bowl, well, line check the entire production. It's guaranteed you're going to arrive at a technical error. They didn't read the contract. Guaranteed you'd run into a problem. Sometimes it would threaten to destroy the whole show. See, their setup required exact rigging instructions, specific electrical loads, and complex equipment that, if it was done wrong, it could cause serious injury or even destroy the venue. So the band planted a tiny, seemingly silly test, the brown M&M. It was all about the details. See, they knew that if they walked into the green room and saw brown M&Ms in the bowl, the promoter didn't read the contract. It was actually genius. And if they didn't read the part about the candy, the chances are they didn't read the parts about the voltage requirements, the stage weight limits, or safety warnings either. See, details aren't just decorations, they're diagnostics, and they are important. So let's bring this into your world. You have a lot of things going on at once. You've got a fast-paced environment, a fast-paced job, or a fast-paced life. and it can be hard to keep up with everything that's going on. You've got business meetings, you've got team projects, sales calls, there's all these checklist things to do. You've got proposals that need to be taken care of, deadlines that need to be met, and the list goes on and on and on. So with such a demand, here's the question. How often do we overlook the small things because we're so focused on just getting it done? I mean, think about it. One wrong number in a budget can throw off an entire department. A simple forgotten attachment in an email, well, that can cause delays. That calendar invite, I'm guilty, I've done this, that's sent with the wrong time zone, that can cause an important meeting to be missed. We show up at different times, all because of that tiny detail. See, details matter, and missed details can be costing you a lot of money. Did you know that according to a study from Sage Journals, companies on average lose an estimated, get this, $62.4 million every single year simply because of poor communication? And a lot of that, it's avoidable. It's all detail-related mistakes. It was missed simply because it was mixed in the details. And not only are mistakes embarrassing, they're expensive. Here's the truth. Excellence isn't just in the big ideas, it's in the follow-through. But because details are invisible when they're done right, they're often underappreciated until something goes wrong. So it's why pilots use checklists for every single flight. It's why surgeons double-check all their tools and they count after every procedure. It's why world-class restaurants inspect every plate before it hits the table. And it's why you need to stop thinking of details as just extra and start treating them as essential. Details aren't just details. They're indicators. See, they reveal how we work, how we lead, and how much we care. We all know what happens when the small things are ignored. We have broken processes, we have lost clients, wasted time, and even damage to your reputation or even your brand. And on the other side of that, we've seen how the best leaders don't just talk about excellence, they engineer it, even down to the smallest tiny request. So how do we do that? That's the question. How do we lead with that same level of intentionality, whether we're managing a team, we're building a brand, or you're just trying to show up well in your day-to-day work? Well, I want to give you 3 strategies that you can start using right now to lead with precision and create a culture where everyone pays attention to the details. So, number 1, use detail as a signal. Use detail as a signal. Think of small details like early warning lights, like the indicators in your car. They're telling you that there is a problem. See, the signal doesn't cause the engine to fail, but they do tell you that something else is about to. And that's exactly what Van Halen did with the Brown M&M. The Brown M&M was a small detail that was used as a signal to say there is a problem. And you can use this same principle in your business or in your leadership. For example, if you feel like people aren't paying attention to your emails, we're all guilty of that, all the details, right? Add a small instruction near the end, something like, let's go. Include this phrase in your reply, let's go. And then if it's missing, you instantly know that they didn't pay close attention to all the details. Or when you're in the hiring process, ask candidates to submit something with a specific file name or to include a specific detail in their resume. And when you get that back, you'll know if they missed it. During onboarding, ask a small, unexpected question just to see how carefully they read the welcome material. For team communication, drop a subtle instruction just mid-message. Did they catch it? That little detail, that little statement, were they paying attention to the details? See, this isn't about tricking people. It's about identifying areas where details are missed. It's a signal that things are being missed. Excellence is often invisible, but inattention always leaves a trail. I want to say that again. Excellence is often invisible. You probably aren't rewarding the people enough on your team, on your job, in your life that are paying attention to the details and doing it in an excellent way. But inattention always leaves a trail. And unfortunately, many of us spend most of our energy focusing on the inattention that has left a trail. See, when someone misses a small, just clear instruction, that's not about their capacity. It's about discipline. And the sooner you see it, the sooner that you can correct it. And then number 2, build systems, not just checklists. I want to encourage you to build systems and not just checklists. This is important because when it comes to details, you need systems to support the details. See, checklists are a great start. They're a great starting place. But systems are what keeps businesses from falling apart when things get busy or when they get stressful. This is the difference. A checklist is a to-do list. A system is a repeatable process with built-in safeguards, accountability, and clarity on why each step matters. Can you see the difference in the weight of a checklist and all the details there in the system? The checklist, here's what we do, check it off. But that system allows you to repeat the process over and over with clarity and with excellence. It's a built-in safeguard. It keeps you accountable, and it gives you clarity on why every single step matters. Let's say you're running a marketing agency. A checklist says proofread the copy before it publishes. And that makes sense, right? But a system would go a little farther. A system would say assign proofreading to a different person other than the one who wrote it. Require an approval with a signature after proofing. And that just shows that it's been done, and it's been done by an independent party, and it gives accountability with their name on it. Proofing must be done 2 weeks before publishing to allow time for revisions. See, the entire system is being done, including a timeline. Now, you may be asking, why does this matter? Because systems don't rely on memory. Systems don't rely on motivation, and systems don't rely on interpretation. They reduce errors and they protect consistency. An airline doesn't ask pilots to remember to lower the landing gear. They don't even have to remember. It's going to happen systematically with every pilot, regardless of who the pilot is. It doesn't matter about the pilot, what plane is being flown, or where it is going. See, it happens the same with every single one because that is the system. Your organization might not be flying people around the world, but even the smallest mistakes, a missed zero on a quote, a skipped step in any process, it can cost you simply because the details were missed. And if you want a more detailed life, start building smarter systems. And then number 3, reward precision, not just productivity. Reward precision, not just productivity. Productivity is important, even better when it's fast because people want it and they want it right now, whatever it might be, right? We're all guilty of measuring performance by who can make the most sales calls or answer the most emails and who can get it done the fastest. But what about precision? See, we tend to overlook the people who catch the missed details. These are the people that fix the typos, that spot the policy errors, or even see a weakness in the systems that you have. We have to shift our thinking to not only reward productivity, but to reward precision. If you want a detail-oriented culture, you have to make precision a visible value because people mirror what you celebrate. Let me give you some practical ways that you can do this. So, for example, in a team meeting, give shout outs to people who caught something that others missed, even if it was just a formatting fix or a customer name correction. See, in our meetings, we tend to look at the big details, the big thing that happened, like the fireworks, the explosion, and the beauty of it. But behind that process was a lot of work that went into it. So instead of just celebrating the overall outcome, give some shout outs to the people who are making all of the details matter that make the overall process a success. Build attention to detail into performance reviews. In performance reviews, we know you're going to see if they hit their numbers, and that's important. We're not going to take that away. But to reinforce attention to detail, consider how careful they were with the small stuff. Just look for it and reward it. I think you could create an unsung hero award, just something to honor the behind the scenes excellence. Spotlight it. There are probably a lot of people on your team who, as the title suggests, they go unnoticed. Make it a visible value for your team. And leaders, this one's for you. Model it. You have to model it. Show that you read the entire proposal. Respond to the thoughtful detail in your team's message. Ask questions that prove you're paying attention. See, it sets the tone for what matters. As the old saying goes, everything rises and falls on leadership. Remember, what gets rewarded gets repeated. So if you want people to be thorough, if you want them to notice every detail, stop rewarding only the loudest or the fastest, and start noticing the most careful, those with the attention to detail. So let me leave you with a question. What are your Brown M&Ms? What are your Brown M&Ms in your organization, on your team, or in your life? What are the small, easy to overlook details that could be making a big impact in your organization, on your team, or in your life? Is it how your team handles follow-ups? Is it if meeting notes are forgotten or if they're followed through? Is it the way your team communicates with customers or even coworkers? The point isn't to become obsessive over the minor things. The point is to recognize that excellence starts in the small things, but it never stays there. Details shape the culture. Details earn trust. Details reveal the difference between someone who's winging it and someone who's working it. You don't have to get loud to lead well. Sometimes you just need to notice what others miss. It's in the tiny details. So this week, pay attention to the small stuff. Use it as a mirror, use it as a measurement, and maybe even a moment to improve or make something better. Because the people who sweat the small stuff are usually the ones who end up leading the big stuff. So my challenge for you is to spend time developing your Brown M&M test and watch the difference that the details will make. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Mind Your Business podcast. If you found this episode helpful, will you like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review? That would be so helpful for me. And until next time, go mind your business and enjoy your M&Ms.